Welcome to CLEF Notes, brief answers to theological questions. Our question for this morning: why are pastors trained at seminaries? These are colleges of higher learning, where they're there for 3 years or 4 years or 5 years or 6 years. Why should that take place at all? We think, well, that's a kind of a silly question. They should learn what they're doing. But in reality, in the history of church, there have been many groups of Christians who have said, well, no, we don't want training for our pastors. We want pastors who the Spirit raises up among us. And we know that the Spirit has raised them up among us because they have no training. So their validity is in their lack of training and their ability then to do the things of a pastor without ever having been trained at all. This might seem silly, but nowadays, of course, more and more people are suspicious of any type of training, of thoughts coming into us from places that we don't know, and are, in many cases, justly suspicious. And haven't the higher educational institutions caused trouble in the past, especially with pastors? Most definitely so. But does that mean that we throw out the baby with the bathwater? Because think here of what Jesus does with his disciples. He doesn't just simply appear and walk around on earth by himself for 3 years, but he actually calls disciples to himself, calls the apostles, and they are trained by him for 3 years. They even go out on an internship of sorts as he sends them out 2 by 2, and then they come back to him with stories of what they had experienced themselves. So in Scripture itself, we have this model for at least 3 years of training of pastors hanging out with other pastors for at least 3 years to come to grips with what they're to do as pastors. And of course, as far as Bible books are concerned, we have 3 of them dedicated just to counsel of pastors: 1st and 2nd Timothy and Titus. These are 3 books that are known as the pastoral epistles for pastors. Here's what you should do if you're a pastor. And of course, when it comes to Timothy hung out with Paul, the Apostle Paul, for quite some time before he became the pastor in Ephesus. So yeah, there's some good to the training of pastors, and that's why the Confessional Lutheran Education Foundation exists. It exists to help the training of pastors, not only here in the United States, but also all over the world in all sorts of contexts, to get that information to budding pastors, that which they need, the good stuff, so that they can be the pastors that they should be, proclaiming Christ to the nations. Hope this helps, and I hope you can join me next time on CLEF Notes.